Hello. Some of you may know me as Fancy Grace, but today I am not playing a character. I am nothing half assed. I am going to get straight to the point in an evidence based argument that will prove many of the things we've been speculating on when it comes to the 1112 King Road camera. This light bulb camera recorded the majority of the publicly available footage around the King Road crime scene, November 13th, 2022, where the lives of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Maddie Mogen, and Kaylee Goncalves were stolen that cold November night. The loss of these beautiful, vibrant, young lives has been the fuel that drives many in the true crime community to find the answers. What happened that night? Who could have done something this vicious? And why is this case so ridiculously secretive, protected from the public, and even deceptive at times? I don't have all the answers, but I do have concerns that the wrong person is possibly in prison. I also have concerns that the motive for this crime is unknown, and that tunnel vision has left the true monsters of Moscow yet to be discovered. So I am voicing my opinions using factual information. So thank you for joining me. This is Nothing Half-Asked versus the silent film of 1112 King Road.
So one of a kind investigative show now. We're coming at you with the truth, nothing half-assed news. Yeah, we're giving you the proof, nothing half-assed news.
Kaylee's bedroom had a window air conditioning unit installed on the night of November 13th. Not maybe, not someone said, even though I said it, not a rumor online. It is in the photos, and I will now prove that. This is the day of the atrocities. And if you look right up in here on that third floor window, that is Kaylee's bedroom, you can see the unit sticking out. Okay? That's one. And this is the day of the atrocities. You can see the over here, you have the blankets where the little crew was gathered, Dylan and the kids, and then this is the CSI truck pulling up. Okay, there's the light bulb cam in place still, and looky there, right up there, sticking out of the window, the AC unit. Okay, that's day of. I'm not great at this. This picture, I did want to give a thank you to Open Mind Perspectives because I screenshot this off of something she had up. And see, you can see the television even inside the room where it's offline. But here's the window air conditioner. Thank you very much, Open Mind Perspectives, for that photo. Here it is in a night shot. Window open, window air conditioner unit. No questions should be on that. Okay. It is also, second source, in the CSI notes. It's in the original forensic documentation, case 22M09903, number 11, page 19 of 32, master page 682 of 2356. These are handwritten notes that the CSI group put in their documentation. It's they were going around checking to see if the windows were locked and notating how each of the windows were in the bedrooms. Floor windows, hallway, northwest wall locked, west bedroom, north wall, AC unit in place. Nothing above it to block open space. Not exactly sure what they're meaning there. Maybe they're talking about like a stick or something to prevent someone from being able to open the window further. Blinds down to top of AC unit. Okay, and that's Kaylee's bedroom. West bedroom, sliding glass door unlocked, evidence tape broken at 3:56 to check. Bathroom, north wall unlocked, east bedroom, south wall unlocked. Okay, so right there though, they confirm it was an AC unit in place. Okay, so that's 2 forms of documentation. Here's all the page numbers and everything. So a window air conditioning unit is basically a giant hole in your wall with a fan shoved in it. Okay, they're made of thin metal vents and accordion sides, which are these here that you stretch out to fit the window. Okay, so they're about as solid as like a cereal box. Like they're not, these don't block much sound at all. Okay, this would be the part that's inside that we were looking at in that other photo. You just basically have like the fins, kind of like a radiator setup. The little fins cooling part. You got a big fan that blows the air across those little fins. And you have your little compressor that kicks on and off, to give it pressure, and it pulls the condensation out of the air. So not going to go through much more of that, but you can see that it's not like a solid, built thing. It's got lots of room for air movement. And, if this is turned off and it's in your window, you might as well have an open window and be speaking, because it will let every sound outside in and every sound inside out. See where I'm going with this? Okay. So if the state wants to argue that the neighbor's camera could pick up a thud at 4:17 a.m. and Murphy barking for 45 minutes because it's in their timeline and the PCA, well, then we need to have a very real conversation about what that same microphone should have heard between midnight and 3:35 a.m. The exact window of time that the FOIA video is mysteriously silent. From midnight to, I'm sorry, I missed it, to 2:25, okay? That's what the tape that Jules of all trades, thank you, Jules, shout out to Jules, got for everyone with the FOIA. So here's what is happening during that time, okay? We know for sure, I mean, there's going to be other things, but we know for sure that at 1:56 a.m., Kaylee and Maddie are getting dropped off by Eric Gower, right? The car pulls up. We should hear gravel. We would be able to hear the car running, the doors closing, saying goodbye or thank you or have a good night, whatever they would have said to him, or vice versa, or talking to each other. Come on, Maddie, let's go inside. All of that should have been able to be heard on that camera. I mean, it's right behind it, all normal, all audible. Okay. Inside the house, the girls are all in Kaylee's room, talking about the grub truck food, talking about what they had drank. You got Dylan calling Eric, or texting Eric back, seeing if he's, are you still driving? They're in there making a video for TikTok. There is a 17-minute FaceTime between Jack and Kaylee. And the tone of that FaceTime is now more curious than ever, because Jack denied knowledge of that call. And somebody FaceTimed for 17 minutes or eavesdropped on whatever was going on for 17 minutes. But it occurred, and most likely, I'm going to guess there was an actual conversation and some bickering that would have been able to be, a little louder than probably normal. So, following that FaceTime, a series of rapid repeat phone calls from Kaylee and Maddie were made to Jack. They went unanswered, and then they started texting from both of their phones. And we all know that that was not silent dialing. Okay, you've either got Kaylee saying, "Give me your phone, Maddie, because my phone's died," or he's not picking up my phone. I mean, there was some kind of bickering going on. Personally, I think it had something to do with he was supposed to pick up Murphy or to let him know she had his vape pen, but I don't think that she's going to be like mad dialing him to just let him know I've got your vape pen. Ethan and Xana come home at some point. So somebody's making a call to DoorDash from somewhere. We aren't sure yet. Murphy's been let out by their description. Bethany said that she and Maddie took Murphy out, and then Murphy somehow gets lost. And the 10 seconds that Bethany goes back inside to get her little snacky and says she's down in her room watching Baby Daddy. If the person, I mean, who's not going to get up? Like if you go outside with somebody, take the dog out to the bathroom, and then they come to you and say, "Hey, do you have the dog?" And you say, "No, I don't." I mean, then you're just going to go back to bed? Like, why didn't you get up and help if Maddie was supposed to go looking for the dog? Why weren't you helping, Bethany? That's ridiculous. So you've got, if you're taking out the dog or you're looking for the dog, somebody's yelling, "Hey, Murphy," somebody's calling, somebody's talking. You probably had Bethany, "I'm freezing. I have to go inside now. It's too cold." Uh-huh. And all kinds of noise should be going on during all of this stuff, okay? This was not a silent house. This was not a silent night. And with that air conditioning unit in the window, the sound should have been just pouring out of that room. You should have been able to stand in the driveway and heard it like that window was open. And to show that, I'm going to be showing you a series of decibel charts, okay, to show you the difference in the volumes. Because here's the twist, that the Moscow Police Department did audio tests. Remember where they were talking about making barking sounds, trying to determine whether Murphy was inside or outside? Well, they didn't do any of that with the air conditioning unit in the window. They took it out, which I will prove also, before they did their audio tests. So all of their audio testing that they plan to present in court is absolutely not based on the conditions that were there that night. It's completely pointless to present something as evidence like they did when it's not. And I'm going to prove that. So let me get these pictures together and I'll be right back. There was a 4-person conversation, which a typical 4-person conversation is going to be around 60 to 65 decibels. I know I put Labradoodle here. I know it's a golden doodle. Please don't rip me apart. FaceTime call with tense adult conversation, 65, 75 decibels. An adult scream from fear or pain. Yes, I researched all of these. This is what took me so stupid long. Is 90 to 100 decibels. And them claiming the thud with something. So I got the sound of body hitting vinyl tile, which could be a floor, or drywall impact without damage to the drywall. So no one was being put through the drywall. That'd be 55 to 75 decibels, okay? So we know that all those things have this registerable amount of sound. If you had a closed window, you are going to reduce that sound, okay, at a 5 to 8 decibel range with just a closed window. From the reduction in sound from having a closed window is much more than what would be escaping with a window air conditioner that is off, okay? So you also take into account ambient noise, which they did measure, MPD measured that night. 25 to 35 decibels is the way that the sound is going to carry the waves through the atmosphere outside, which the ambient noise is going to be your outdoor noise, your cars, your running things, just the sound that's typically there at a level, okay? On a cold November night, it's weird because honestly, like I learned so much I didn't want to know about sound, but cold nights, sound's going to travel differently than on a hot, humid night. It's just insane. Having the AC unit in the window is going to increase the outdoor sound levels by 5 to 10. Okay. You're going to hear the outside sounds more because you don't have that barrier of that glass keeping the sound out. Does that make sense? I hope that it does. So you might hear a dog barking from inside your house with the door or the window closed at 18 to 21 decibels. Okay. But if you had a window air conditioner in, that same dog bark is going to sound 26 to 29 decibels. That's a big difference. Okay. A normal conversation, 5 to 8 through a closed window, okay, with the window air conditioner in and not running, 13 to 16 decibels. So everything inside of that house that they claimed was able to be heard, okay, because think about it. They used that thud to set the timeline to make it be that, Bryan left at 4:20. They had to have all these sounds. They had to prove that you could prove those sounds on tape, okay? That they heard the car take off, that they heard the slider door open, that you could hear that the dog was outside barking versus inside. And I'm saying that nice try, guys. Nice try. None of that is going to sound like they went in and tested because they did not test correctly with a window air conditioner in. Okay, that dog could have been barking in that bedroom and it could have sounded like what everyone thought was an outdoor dog sound. But when they went back and checked it, it wouldn't sound anything like that because they didn't have the air conditioner in. And I will show you that it was gone far before they came in and did this testing, okay? You all saw the pictures when they were coming to do tests. It was snowy out. It was over the holiday. It was Christmas time, okay? It was like right before Christmas. All the cars were gone. Okay, well, old Chief Fry had decided to move those kids out prior to that. And that's when they took that unit out. But I'm going to just kind of show you a few more things about decibel stuff. Trust me, I cut it down to the bare minimum from the stuff that I've researched. I went down a rabbit hole that I should have never gone down. but it's important because this destroys their timeline. Okay. So when you're looking at those decibel charts, when MPD did their audio tests, the ones that they literally said the camera wouldn't have heard anything about certain sounds, okay? They can't say that. They cannot say that there weren't sounds that would have been detectable, that wouldn't have mattered, that somebody would have heard this or that, because they were testing under different circumstances that are measurably different. I mean, you can see in the charts the difference that a closed window and an open aired AC unit non-running would be. I'm telling you, I have window air conditioners. If I stand outside, you can hear you can hear people talking right through there, like the window's wide open. Okay, so um, I have photographs from December 7th when Chief Fry showed up with everyone to move the belongings of the roommates out. And on that date, in those pictures, I will show you that that window air conditioner unit was no longer in the window. On December 7th, they moved the belongings out, removed, meaning their test was done in a sealed room that did not match the real conditions. That is not a small detail. That is a different acoustic environment completely. And then we go to the part of my presentation that's about the FOIA video. The 12:55 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. segment that cost approximately $1,500, okay, in donations to obtain. It comes silent, completely silent. And previously we discussed all those activities that would have been going on during the time frame of that video. Lots of important things, extremely important in my opinion. But earlier releases from that same camera, including a clip that overlaps that section by 5 minutes, do have audio. See, MPD released 5-minute segments at a time at first to Jules of all trades, or Jules True Crime Reactions. I apologize. They released them in 5-minute increments because it was easier to download. That's just how they put it together in 5-minute segments, and that way she could get a few at a time, and then another few because of the money situation. Well, then when it came to wanting one fluid video, because she was having to put together all the little segments, and Jules does a lot. She does a lot for everyone, and her subscribers, they work together a lot to donate funds and get them to Jules and Connor and just whatever is needed. It's a good group of people. Jules has been a real leader, I think, in the fight for justice, and her dedication to the facts, no matter what they lead towards in terms of results, is a quality that I very much admire in her, and I support her. So thank you, Jules, for everything that you do for all of us. You should try to take in multiple channels. You don't have to absolutely adore everyone 24/7, but you get a lot of good knowledge when you listen to a lot of people. So this was basically for $1,500. You would think that you would get audio, or captions, or literally anything besides 95-minute mime performance. But no, apparently Jules and her entire true crime community paid for 3 people to sit around and stare at a silent film, which absolutely makes no sense, because if one person was going to redact all the sound, then why did they need 2 other people to look at it? It's ridiculous, because they are billing for the time that they're supposed to be reviewing the redactions, and they are supposed to be supplying a code with each redaction to let you know why that part was redacted. The sad part is, with all of the rules, they have all these wonderful rules set up for how the FOIAs are supposed to be done, but there's absolutely nothing that enforces those. So believe me, I looked into that a lot because I really wanted to be able to help Jules out in some way, because she does everything. But I emailed her, I sent her an outline, and I put together a few formats of all my information. This is me being casual with you, presenting this, but I have a forensic court usable formatted, written out papers and outlines and everything, documenting with all the sightings for the sources and everything. So if anybody was interested in any of that, just send me an email. I'll be happy to share. Back to what I was saying. I apologize. I'm a little scatterbrained today. But if deleting the entire audio track counts as a redaction, um, then I guess, I'm a famous worldwide known editor every time that I delete one of the lines from my YouTube script because that's some bull. So what I wanted to get to, what I started looking into, and what I had to learn about, because I did not know anything about this, and I really would like to work a little more with like Outcast to have him look over stuff. He had said he would. I just know he gets really busy, and it's kind of hard to correspond with email. And we don't have anybody's phone number, so I researched metadata. Okay, because metadata does not lie. You can count on the metadata that goes with these videos, but people lie. Okay, so Jules has the different correspondence. We don't have this. We do have that. We found it, but it was silent. And how would we? It, you know, we don't. That's the way it was for us. It's ridiculous. Hang on, I'll show you one of these here. Yeah, she sent them an email. Saying, "Hey, here's the camera. Here's what She's citing the different things about, Maury got the SD card and then he couldn't figure out what to do with the SD card, which is really sad, okay? Because, like, my husband's not even very much into computers, but he knows how to get the SD cards out of his trail cams and view them on his camera just fine. He, takes back this evidence, like he doesn't even copy the thing. I mean, all of this is in the court docs, but she's basically citing that they made 5, 6, at least 7 or 8 copies by the time it was getting copied for her. And Maury, in his report number 28, he says that there is audio. And now they're just, like, well, we just don't know. We don't know what happened. Maury knows. Okay. Maury is not, he is knowledgeable with the IT. He is like the IT guy at Moscow PD. And his, the way he uses language about audio when it suits him is quite evident how much he does understand what he is claiming, to not know about. Like right in here, he will say, because he's talking about the cameras from the college. He wanted to get cameras and things. Okay, so he's talking about that he provided the university with a storage device capable of storing large amounts of video, that he received the message that the transfer of the videos was complete and that onto his storage device, he could go and pick them up. Okay, so he goes as far to talk in detail about that he, when he brought it back and returned it to the Moscow police computer forensics lab, he made sure that he verified by hash value, okay, which is part of like the coding that's in your videos and things, okay? It's a term that not everyone's going to know. And he talks about the hash value to ensure bit for bit copying was completed. Okay. So he's here bragging in this law supplemental narrative that he made sure he got that audio, every bit of it copied for what he needed. And then he wants to sound like I don't know. I don't know how I opened that folder. I don't know where that came from. I don't know. I just it just makes me crazy. I'm on to you.
Bastard trees. You see it? I see you.
Mary, I see you. So anyway, he's quite a character. Okay. Metadata doesn't lie, but people do. Every single 5-minute clip from this camera, including 230 to 235, and the true overlap of 225 to 230, okay? Because Jules had them in those 5-minute increments, remember? So we get this full tape, the full video was silent, okay? But they didn't realize that we had those 5-minute increments. So when you played 225 to 230, it had sound. On your full video, it's silent. So right there, we already knew there was sound. Okay, because they tried to say there was no sound to be heard, nothing triggered the camera, that the camera didn't record audio. That is not true, not possible. Okay, let me tell you how deep I went into this stupid investigation of mine. I checked the firmware downloads for this brand of camera to make sure there were no glitches, no problems. Nothing had been reported that evening. There was no new updates that were coming through, nothing that could have caused an anomaly to make a section of video go silent, okay? That camera cannot record video without recording audio unless someone has manually gone in there and turned that volume off. But they didn't, because we know that Steve Goncalves and his family, they said they had audio because that's how they said they heard the girls come home. They heard them taking the dog out. Remember all these things we talked about? So we already know that there was audio. And then we had Ann Taylor in court. Give me the audio. Give me the audio. Give me the audio. There's audio missing. Well, okay. Let me just stay on track. I apologize. I'm going to finish my little statements here. So, okay. So we have these overlapping times where we knew we got you, that there was sound. Okay. So the 225 to 230 contains a normal, healthy audio track. Same codec. Okay. Same sample rate. Same stereo channels. This is all information that you can see in the metadata. Okay. And I'll show you how I ran some of that here in just a second. But same structure. The camera was recording audio perfectly. There was nothing wrong with that camera. The camera did not malfunction. Did not get an update. Nothing. Okay. But when we get that full video from the FOIA, the one that was $1,500 for that one's just completely silent. And the metadata shows something very different. Okay. Not a malfunction, not a missing track, not a corrupted file. All of these things I verified. The audio track that should be there just simply isn't. The container is intact, which is how they package together like your audio and video. It's kind of, some of the things I understand, but I can't necessarily put into words to describe. So just work with me here. The video track is intact. Okay, like Outcast will know what I'm talking about. The file size is correct for a full-length export. And YouTube's own, here's where I got them. YouTube's own Stats for Nerds. Okay, have you ever seen that on YouTube? That little setting that you can turn on is a Stats for Nerds, and it'll put up, I'll show you a picture of it. It'll put up all these little, okay, hold on. I was even impressed with myself for this, okay. Okay. This is Stats for Nerds, okay? Oh, let me move myself. I'm so sorry. Okay. The interesting thing is, this is something that YouTube puts on all of its tapes, okay? All the video that it contains. But, hold on, my thing moved. Okay. YouTube can only, like, it's not going to display something there that isn't there, okay? So this is a completely different way of me proving that this audio track exists, okay? If you see in here the codecs, okay? Codecs, this, I had all these terms. I'm telling you, this is not easy to pull up these screens and record and try to have stuff in the back, because they don't always let you like see everything you're doing. I've got 2 screens going here trying to work with you. So, okay, so I run this. I'm able to see, you can see the frames. Okay, it's running in 1920 by 1080. Okay, and that's, you got your your speed of your camera, and it's at 100% volume. Okay, I can see that. You get these codecs, which is, let me pull this up. Where'd it go? Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, this will help because I'm not great at putting things to. Oh, what happened? Wait, maybe roll up. There we go. Okay. Okay. I'm not always good at memorizing all the terms because this is new to me too. So, um, bitrate, what it means in plain English is how much data per second the video contains. Okay. You've got your image size, which is what I was just saying, that 1080. Okay. Um, get your megapixels, rotation. These are all like terms that are in a lot of these things. Okay. And then you get file types and extensions. That's when something will be called like an MP4 container format. Okay. That's like, it's an MP4 or it's a Windows Media Video, WMV. Um, the MIME type, that's where it's declaring the file type to the system, video slash MP4. And encoding, that's a whole nother, that's like, I don't quite know how to I don't quite know how to explain that. I know what it looks like. I don't exactly know how to explain why everything gets encoded, but I know it's how you transfer things. So the container is intact, the video is intact, the video track is intact, the file size is correct for a full length export, because you want to look at the size, because when you have audio and video in it's a lot bigger than if it was just video, is my understanding. The container is intact, the video track is intact, the file size is correct for a full length export, and YouTube's own Stats for Nerds confirms the uploaded file originally contained audio. The AV1 reference in that Stat for Nerds, okay, the AV1 here, and then the MP4A here tell us that there's an audio and a video portion of this footage. That can't be faked. It will not write that on YouTube if it doesn't exist. So the silence isn't technical, it's not accidental, it's not a camera limitation, it is a choice. Flat out proven. Because metadata is like, I say, like, it's that one friend who tells you the truth, even when it, like, you don't want to hear it. You can't mess with metadata. Okay. The truth here is very simple. The camera recorded audio, period. The clips, they have audio, the 5-minute clips. The YouTube detected audio. Okay. The only place where the audio magically has disappeared is the one file that the public was charged $1,500 for. What a coincidence. What a coincidence. I don't know. One would say that might be kind of a little attitudinal issue. If this video is the backbone of the official timeline, then the timestamps should be the most boring, predictable, reliable part of this entire file. But they're not. Some sections run slow, some skip numbers, some jump ahead a little. Some look like they were looped together by somebody who thought no one who enjoys solving crimes would notice something like fog lights. If you're going to charge the public $1,500 for a silent movie, the timestamps should at least behave like you were able to count to 9 without issues, like a Moscow DUI walk-in turn. 9 steps. Remember, Truly's for the win, boys. So when timestamps drift, jump, or desync, that's not a vibe. That's a red flag. It is a red flag, like the one, that young lady that was walking with her friend. They had both of them had the open container, and she was like visibly very over the limit, intoxicated. And you guys at MPD made her friend leave Leave her there. And you promised that kid, who was very concerned about her getting home safely, you promised him that you would make sure she got home safely after you gave her a ticket for open container and underage drinking and all that. And he didn't get any kind of ticket. Nothing at all. And he had open container. It's just really interesting to me. And after you promised that kid that you would make sure that girl got home safe, you guys just let her stumble off alone to where we don't even know. And that's the MPD that some of the participants in this Idaho 4 case are praising all over the place. And, you know, we just want to know that your kids weren't pawns in a Truly's for the win scenario. Because I find that behavior pretty disgusting. And I don't know exactly what all else they're capable of, to be honest. Because the timeline in this case, the one they used for the PCA, the one they used in all the media narratives, the one they used to shape the public opinion against Bryan, is built on the assumption that this video is continuous, accurate, and unaltered. Yeah. I'm back. Okay. I wanted to pull up a sample of the metadata that I got from the 5-minute segments that had the sound. And you know what? I better check and make sure this has sound in a minute too. I've recorded so many things and like the microphone doesn't kick on. It like, you know, it's awesome being a YouTuber. But and this here is from the 5-minute section. I believe it is the 2:35 section. See here, you can see here media duration 5 minutes. Okay. And where you know that up here you've got video track. Okay. And then you got this MP4A sound handler description, audio track. That's what it should look like. Okay. But I will say this, they have messed with some of the timestamps. Some of the timestamps have been set to all zeros. So I don't know exactly if they've oops and done that afterwards, or if they set them to 0 and then they kind of went in and made those timestamps say whatever they wanted. I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just asking questions because they've zeroed out a lot of the timestamps on things. And it's nothing that we could do because they're read-only files to us. So I can't mess with the metadata. It goes with it. It's like it's like the video's DNA. You're not going to mess with it. But when you, let's see, is what they had named that big file, the big file that Jules has, okay? And it has a much bigger bit rate because it's a bigger file, okay? So you have MP4. Okay, hopefully this is recording the sound. This on your screen right now is one of the 5-minute sections. Every single thing on this file and the large file are identical, but next track ID. This one says 3 because it has an audio and a video, which is 1 and 2. I take that back. They're identical except for their size and this track ID. The large one that I'll show you in a moment will say next track ID 2. But everything, the apple, the base, the matrix structure, all of this, MP4, all of this is the same encoder. So the only way that's going to happen is if they have removed the entire audio. Lav F59.16100, whatever. That is not something that is native camera metadata. That is software that they used, most likely, allegedly, to process and change the footage before releasing it. So if they claim that that's just how it was, yeah, not possible, because that shows there was post processing occurred. It's not native camera file, and it tells you something happened when they were transferring or exporting or whatever they were doing to get this to Jules. There's other programs that you can run. I had this EXIF metadata viewer that it will take a sampling and it will run and blah, 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 blah. So I was able to take segments of the audio from Jules, but finding the confirmation that there was an audio track there because of YouTube picking it up in that Stats for Nerds, they can't deny that. YouTube would totally back that up. It's not going to show that there's a soundtrack or an audio track when there's not. It's not possible. So, way to go, Nothing Half-Assed. You did good. Thank you. And thank you about the window air conditioner. Some stupid little fact that I would happen to notice. Anyway, God, I hope this audio recorded. Sorry, there's a bunch of motorcycles going by outside my house. I don't know if you could hear that or not. So basically, I'm going to try to wrap this up because I am long-winded. I apologize. If the timestamps don't match the expected behavior of this camera system, if the pacing of the video doesn't match real time, like parts where we can tell, it looks sped up or slowed down or in reverse, or it's if the seconds don't tick like seconds, then what exactly are we looking at? A raw file, a processed file, a trimmed file, a recompressed file? Possibly. That's possible. A reviewed file? Is it a redacted file? A whoops, the audio just fell out and went missing file? Because here is the truth. When the audio is missing, the metadata contradicts the official story, and the timestamps behave like they were edited on Adderall. That's not a conspiracy. That's a quality control problem. And if the public is footing the bill for 3 separate people to review redactions on a file that's silent, the timestamps are weird, and metadata is inconsistent, then at some point we have to ask, what exactly were they reviewing? The silence, the missing seconds, the parts that just don't line up. Because if deleting the entire audio track counts as a redaction, and that is what they have done, They've made the audio track that was in existence disappear. I've proven that. Okay. Then I guess some people are as lazy as their work ethic is poor. The timestamps matter, the audio matters, the air conditioning unit matters, the metadata matters. And when all four points in the same direction towards inconsistency, the burden isn't on the public to explain it. It's on the people who released it. Independent confirmation comes from YouTube's internal playback diagnostics, the stats for nerds, which detected an audio codec and audio bit rate when the file was uploaded. YouTube cannot generate audio metadata unless the source file contains an audio track. Period. I showed you the stats for nerds. It's there. The metadata shows no legitimate technical reason for the absence of audio. The silence is not natural. It is not accidental. It is not a camera limitation. I confirmed all that with the company. It is a human decision. A window air conditioning unit is basically a megaphone pointed at the outside world. But sure, we're just supposed to believe that the camera could hear a thud at 4:17 a.m. because that's what you want us to believe, But it's not going to hear four girls laughing and talking and calling their ex-boyfriends and letting a dog out and living their lives between midnight and 4:17 a.m. There's nothing that triggered any sound according to them. It's just, we just don't know where that sound is, huh? But apparently the law of acoustics takes the night off when it's inconvenient in Moscow. So if you remove the AC unit before doing your little audio test, congratulations. You've just recreated the wrong room. That's like testing how loud a car horn is by honking it inside of the My Pillow factory. Pretty stupid. It's not science, it's cosplay. So, if the public is paying for evidence, the public deserves the evidence, not the edited highlights. Metadata doesn't lie. Acoustics don't lie. Timestamps don't lie. Motions to compel should be truthful. Which, by the way, let me show you that. I can't click the right speed. Oh my gosh. Boom. Motion to compel. I got this from Miss Lucy Morningstar, pointed this out, okay? She was brilliant when she found this. And she posted the trial archive link and everything here. And I referenced Lucy's post. So all this is here, but you can go to Lucy because Lucy is amazing. Ann Taylor addressed Judge John Judge. That's still the funniest name. May 30th, 2024. And basically, she was talking about, and when we're looking at 2A, this all comes from the defendant's 11th supplemental request for discovery. 2A is the video on King Street. Your Honor, we began asking for that a long time ago. We have it in full, so we don't have to talk about that today. That was her quote. And she said, "We received that in full for all of the hours and days in question, with both audio and video, on 5/10/2024." But look how long she had to wait to get that. We don't know what she got. I would assume that she should have some expert that should be able to check the metadata or whatever is needed to make sure that it's authentic, but maybe not. Sometimes people miss things. That's why it takes a group of us to come up with everything. That's why I love it. I love brainstorming. So then he marked off 2A, item 219 off the list. That's what happened. That's a third piece of evidence saying Ann Taylor finally got the audio, because the audio exists. So if the public is paying for evidence, the public deserves the evidence, not the edited highlights. Metadata doesn't lie. Acoustics don't lie. Timestamps don't lie. Motions to compel should be truthful, which obviously I believe that is. And the only thing silent in this case is the one file that shouldn't be. I think there was a lot talked about during that little powwow with Jack and the girls, or taking the dog out. Maybe somebody approached. We don't know. But I don't know why everybody likes to lie about all this. So that's not conspiracy theory, right, Hive? That's not speculation, right, Dago? That's just following the evidence, right, Jules, Lana, Lucy Morningstar, my evidence followers? And if MPD wants to say the audio doesn't exist, then they need to explain why the metadata says otherwise. Are you feeling me, Outcast? I know you understand that. Pav, are you ready to box them ears? Because the metadata doesn't lie. Does it, Harsh? It does not lie. No, it does not. And you look lovely. People do. And that, people, is a Nothing Half-Asked investigation. Please like and subscribe. And bye-bye to your evidence for the dog barking and all your little timeline. Add that to your pile, Pav, and everyone else, because if Bryan goes back to court, he's got some darn good people working on this case, hasn't he? Yeah, true crime. Love you guys. Hush. Have a good evening. Thank you very much. Sorry if I'm long-winded, but I don't do this a lot. But I tried really hard. Bye. If you need anything, email me. Bye.
Well, alright, we kicked the doors down off the hinges, got the facts, we're pulling no punches, digging up the dirt, you need to know now, it's a one-of-a-kind investigative show now, we're coming at you with the truth, nothing half-assed news, yeah, we're giving you the proof.